I was born in San Antonio. I was a big, humongous, fat baby. I weighed 10 pounds and 8 ounces. Anybody that's been around a little brother or sister, you know that's a big, humongous, fat baby. Well, I never grew. When I was 18 months old, I weighed 12 pounds. Just to give you a little history of my growth. I didn't weigh. My first year I played football, I was 5 years old. I played for the Plaza Tower Roadrunners in Oklahoma City, and I weighed 26 pounds. I was 5 years old, weighed 26 pounds. Anybody know my future nephew, Bubba Lester? Probably weighs about 30 pounds. He would have killed me when I was his age. That's how small I was. Me and my family moved around a lot. My dad worked in the oil field. So we were back and forth. Anybody knows anything about the Midwest and Texas and Oklahoma? Oil is the business. So my dad worked for Halliburton, so we went back and forth from San Antonio to Oklahoma City. A lot. So I was moving around a lot. I went to, in kindergarten I went to 2 schools, and they were all named after presidents. Then in 1st grade, I went to 2 schools. These are different schools. This is me bouncing back and forth from Oklahoma to San Antonio, Texas. 2nd grade, same thing. 3rd grade, I moved here. By the time I got here in 3rd grade and I was 8 years old, I'd already become real defined. I was the smallest kid in class. I didn't get picked on a lot, but I did show my rear end a lot in school. Try to get a little attention. So I was real defined in school. I came here, carried that with me when I moved to Northport, Alabama in 1984. Went to Vestavia Elementary School. Big elementary school, about 400 kids there at the time, and I was the smallest. Walk in, one girl catches my eye, I'm already to where, when I was in San Antonio, I was fighting in 2nd grade all the time in the classroom. So I saw a girl named Ashley Yarbrough, and her boyfriend's name was Clee. I wanted Ashley to be my girlfriend. So I drop kicked Clee in the chest the 2nd day I was in class. Funny then. But I was very violent. Violent behavior and fighting became an addiction to me at an early age. Hurting people became an addiction to me at a very early age. So in the 4th grade, I changed schools again. Dad lost his job. We didn't hardly have any money. So we moved out of a brand new apartment complex that we were living in Northbrook Apartments in Northport, and we moved to a neighborhood just on the edge of Knoll Circle, which is one of the worst projects in Northport. And it was rough. I was the smallest guy, the only white kid in the neighborhood. So what do y'all think I started thinking? Well, I better assert myself as a bad kid, or I'm going to get swallowed up by all these black kids. I'm the only white one. So I start fighting, picking fights with people I don't even know. So I'm in the 4th grade, picking fights in the neighborhood. I start school, 2nd day again, I find a kid and I kick him in the chest. And I start fighting. So I fought a lot because of the fact that I was the smallest and the only white. I had to assert myself as that guy. 5th grade rolls around and I'm finally getting some stability in my school life. I finally go back-to-back years in the same school. Luckily, my aunt had a best friend named Billy Ann Wallace. So I got put in her classroom. Well, the authority was there, so I respected him. At this time, my dad was traveling, working for a construction company, and I think at the time he was putting seats in Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. And he fell down, knocked all his teeth out, and it was ugly. So I hate Jordan-Hare Stadium. I fell down there last year, too. It wasn't funny. But anyway, my dad was traveling a lot. My mom was in nursing school trying to make a better life for us, so she was gone or studying a lot. I'm living near the projects. I'm out at night. But when I'm in school with Billy Ann Wallace, the authority right there made me behave. And I still have my report card in my house. I should have brought it. But I made 2 B's the whole year. Everything else was A's. Never got in any trouble at school. I took it out to the neighborhood a lot, didn't know. But I was behaving because I had that authority figure. I respected her, and I didn't want her to. I still had a soft heart for what people thought about me. I always have. I still do to this day, unless we were going toe-to-toe and fight. 6th grade, still stable. I'm at Crestmont Elementary still. I'm in my 3rd year in the same school, which was incredible for me. get expelled. I hit my sixth grade teacher with a bat. And the reason was she wouldn't let me play first base in the softball tournament here in PE.
Are you kidding?
So I whacked her in the leg with a baseball bat. I know it's funny, I was 12, 11, but there's no excuse for that.
Yes.
But violence had become an addiction to me. It's how I got noticed at a very early age. So I felt comfort in the fact that I was violent and beating people up. I was still real little. And at this time, I became pretty good at football. So in sixth grade, I get expelled. It was after football season, thank God. My dad he would have had a problem with me playing. But right around Christmas time, I had a meeting with Miss Sue Springer. I think she ended up being the superintendent. But she was a teacher, and she met with another woman named Miss Pearson, and Miss Pearson decided to bring me back and put me in her class for the rest of the year so I could finish sixth grade. Finished the year, had an authority figure, a woman that I thought cared about me because she got me back into school. So I did fine. Finished out sixth grade. Seventh grade comes around, I'm still small. Probably weighed 60 pounds, but I still played football. I made all-stars every year, and we did have all-star football back then. But football became the real deal to me. I could put pads on, I could be violent, nobody would really realize it. And so football started replacing the fighting a little bit in 7th and 8th grade. 9th grade comes around, I'm not growing yet. My first football game, I ran for 195 yards on 4 carries. That's a pretty good big average, and I scored on all 3 carries, 3 touchdowns. So that was the second week of school. Well, I'm the big bad guy, or the little bad guy again. So the very next day, I come into school and pick a fight. In 9th grade, I was suspended for 24 days for fighting. Well, most of them were for fighting. 3 of them was for threatening to drop kick the band teacher. But anyway, I was an awful, awful kid in 9th grade. I don't know if y'all remember, but the first guy I got to come speak on a Wednesday night when we started doing these services, Heath Cooper, he started asking me to come to church with him. And I'd go. My parents had me going to Northport Church of God. So I was in church every week. I'd go to things with Heath. I went to camp, and that's the first time I ever did said the prayer, and I didn't really mean anything I said. That's when all that started. Then I started realizing, man, I'm getting better at football. Still not growing much, about 110 pounds in 9th grade. And violence was still my addiction. I'm going to try to speed up a little bit. Then I get to high school. I'm in 10th grade, sophomore at Tuscaloosa County High School. There was almost 400 kids in my class. So I'm the little guy again. But my football coaches took me under their wing. They knew that I had capabilities to be a good football player, even though I was small. So I got in the weight room, and my aggression was taken out working out. I never got in any trouble in high school during school. Keep in mind, I'm only in school till 3 o'clock. I was worried that my coaches would think differently of me if I got in trouble in school. I got in trouble one time in high school. It was for dipping in the parking lot. So overall, from the way my life was, from the day I stepped foot in the school till my high school career as a student, that my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year, I was a good student. I made good grades. I was getting recruited pretty heavily after my 11th grade year to play football, and football replaced violence as my addiction. I was addicted to football. I worshiped football. Everything from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep was football. And there's nothing wrong with being dedicated to something when you got a gift to do it, but it is something wrong with it when you lay that out there. I would have died for football. I loved it. That was my addiction.